Hey guys, welcome back to the Life Be Lifing podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our guest today is Stewart McClain. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Emery. How are you?
Today we're going to talk about anger management. I'm doing great. I'm happy, but it's not like that in the world for everybody.
Yes.
Sometimes people are angry, and I'm glad you came on the show today because I really want to talk about that. And first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been teaching anger management for about 2 years. I started in the reentry department teaching anger management because I know it was needed. We always had a lot of people, in the classes, 20 to 25 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So people really know. So that takes a deep thought about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how do people get into that program? Tell us, do they have to go through your website or anything?
Yeah. To get in the program, they can go through my website, www.stewartmcclain.com. They can reach me by email, bosslife100@gmail.com, or call 314-669-5351. They can either call or text to be able to set up a consultation. Consultations are free. 15 minutes.
Wow, 15-minute consultation for free. You can't get that anywhere.
Yes.
Everybody wants to charge. I had a plumber out to my house the other day. He charged me $135 just to come out.
What?
Like,
oh man, just to come out. That's crazy.
So let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about, you have a book, right?
Yes, I do.
What's the name of it?
It's called Anger Management Tools for Parents. This is my book right here.
Nice. I like that.
Amazing book. It helps you to understand how to be able to manage anger parenting, because parenting is not easy.
No.
Kids.
No, I got 3 of them, buddy.
Kids,
oh my God.
They can have you to go there.
Yeah.
But these are some principles that help you to not go too far.
Yeah. So I remember sometimes I could get really angry. I have to walk away and take, count back from 10 and all type of stuff. Yeah. So you teach those kind of principles, or is it more of an advanced thing? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what I do is I teach different principles. Like, say I have a thing called 30-minute tidy cleaning. So when your children are cleaning, you get them 30 minutes to be able to tidy up and be able to clean. And after that 30 minutes, they should be done. If they're not, they can't have whatever they want. Like if they want their device or they want to go somewhere. No, you can't do it, but you still have to clean.
Yeah.
Because you only had 30 minutes. So it's teaching them structure.
Yes.
It's teaching them discipline. And also you don't have to be hollering and screaming and you ain't clean your room, you ain't do this and that. No, because they already know their own time.
Right.
So it's discipline.
So how important is structure when it comes to children?
Oh, very important. Children need consistency, because when they don't have consistency, they don't know what game to play. If you on the baseball team and your coach, you're not consistent with how things are going in the game of life or in the game of playing baseball, what happens is you don't know where to go. Exactly. You don't know what to do. Yeah. Your coach is throwing up all those little play signs, and you don't even know
what it is. He could be doing this.
You're like, because it's not consistent.
Yeah.
He 1 minute he's this, 1 minute he's that, 1 minute he's doing something else, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't know these different things. But if it's consistent and he's always doing that particular thing, you understand what the meaning is.
So what I'm gathering here, and I see it all the time, is always stay coachable.
Yes.
So we're learning to be coachable as children.
Yeah.
And so to stay coachable, even as an adult. So we're life learners. Mm-hmm. And so we're teaching our kids early to become life learners by always teaching and coaching and being consistent.
Yes, being consistent, because I always tell my children, hey, this right here is a life skill. Mm-hmm. You're going to need this for the rest of your life, because we're as parents, we're supposed to bend kids. So what that means is you structuring them. I'm bending them so they can be able to know how to maneuver in life, because life is not a straight and narrow. It's a bend. It's a curve.
Staying flexible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What are some of your key principles when it comes to anger management and with children?
Yeah, well, I have a YouTube channel called Inspiring Kids Songs.
Okay.
That inspires, kids. And one of the songs on there is called Stop, Breathe, and Think. Because first of all, when you begin to get angry, if you stop, you breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out,
Mm-hmm.
and you think. Because first of all, when you stop, that helps you to be able to think, right? And when you breathe, it brings oxygen to your brain.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So now you have the oxygen in your brain, so you can think better
Mm-hmm.
and make the right choice.
So,
So now I'm not going to make a choice to punch somebody because I just stopped. I just breathed and I thought about it.
so breathing exercises is one of the key principles. So,
Yes.
because it gives you an opportunity to think.
Yes.
It was crazy as when I was in the military.
Mhm.
That's what they used to always say. Breathe, breathe, stop, breathe.
Yes.
Because then you start making better choices.
Yeah, you do.
Now, how do you implement those better choices as in the parent stage? How would if I'm trying to teach my child some really good life skills? How do I start to do that? What age should I start implementing
Yeah,
that?
you start implementing that when they're very young. I mean, most kids learn between like what 2 and what's that 7 or 8. They really start becoming who they supposed. Whatever you put in them, that's gonna mostly be how they are.
Yeah.
So you have to start young when they're young. 1, 2. No, don't do this. Don't. No, you can't jump on the couch. You have to just tell them things. But some people they don't. They just let them do it. Because it's so exciting for them. Oh, little Jimmy's jumping on the couch. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I bet every parent is guilty of that.
Yeah.
I can remember
we all
times
been
I've
there.
seen that with my kids, and I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
But then when they get 3, you're like,
Yep.
no, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah. They
It's
really
cute
do.
at 1, but
Yeah.
at 3 it's not
It's
cute
not,
anymore.
it's
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So really you have to have enough self-control as a parent
Mhm.
to say no immediately.
Yes, immediately. Because structure starts immediately. Kids, they play on all of us.
Mhm.
They play on you. They try to see how far they can go. They try to see if you're going to say anything to them about certain situations. Yeah.
Touching the stove and looking at you.
Yeah, looking. They're like, oh, let me see if they're going to say something to me.
Right.
But really kids want discipline. They want somebody to say something to them.
Yeah.
They need it. Like they want it.
Yeah.
They desire it. That's why I remember someone told me one time they were like their parents were like on drugs and stuff like that. They didn't have any discipline. They did anything they wanted in life, and stuff. But they was like, that's one thing they wish they had. Discipline as a child growing up, because it kind of messed them up a little bit in life, and then they found themselves incarcerated and doing other stuff, going through different things because they didn't have that structure.
When does that blame to the parents stop? Is there a point where you have to start having self-accountability?
Yeah, really. Like even in the Jewish culture, most children become men at 13.
Right.
So around that age, that's when accountability really should hit. I mean, it should hit earlier than that because most kids know probably about around 5. They really know what's going on. Yeah, they really know what's going on. So you have to keep them accountable. But if they start getting older, 11, 12, 13, they really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, it's good to really be on them even more. And you have to tell them, hey, wait a minute, you're older now.
Yeah.
So
consequences.
Yeah, it's consequences. And also, I expect more out of you.
Now, so we talked about consequences now, right? Mm-hmm. Now that is going to directly affect anger management because usually consequences come out of rage.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting and giving a proper consequence as a parent, normally consequences come out of rage because you're mad that they did this.
Yeah.
Now, how can you control that?
You control that by breathing, stopping, and thinking. Because I'm telling you, it comes to all of us. I've been there before when I was just rages and I just, I go in on the kid, So it takes you to be able to think and think about the situation. And now to really, as you get older, you learn more about parenting and how to parent better, than you did when you were younger.
I think when parents, when their kids become adults, they start thinking about all the stuff they did.
Yeah, they do. And also you realize that in the midst of you got to talk to the children, because sometimes it may not be what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to ask them, like, why did you do that, or what was you thinking?
Wow.
Why are you acting like that? Because it's a consequence coming behind it, right?
Yeah.
So you need to change how you're acting. I'm giving you mercy.
Yeah.
So take it.
So wow. So that's something that's something I didn't even think about. Like stopping to ask, like because they had a reason, right? So us as parents, we don't think about. We only think about our own selfless reasons of why we're upset. Well, I'm sorry, selfish reasons why we're upset. Instead of wondering, don't persecute them for this exact thing right here. Find out what that came from. Is that what you're thinking on that?
That's what I'm thinking, because like back in the days, when we were raised, our parents would tell us, take out the trash, and he'd be like, you can't even question why. You just do what I say.
Yeah.
That's it. Just do what I say. Kids these days, they ask like, well, so why I have to take out the trash?
Yeah.
But we may feel like that's disrespect, but really they're just asking the question, and you have to just tell them, because you're helping the family out. You want to have hygiene. One day you're going to live by yourself, so you want to be able to know how to take care of yourself. So that's why you do what you do. And then after that, most of the time kids, they won't even ask anymore, because we live in a generation.
My kids.
but we live in a generation where kids going to ask questions more because they have more information.
That part, man, so much information out there. Because I remember when I was a kid and my mom would tell me to do something, I just did it. But when I became a parent, my kids, why? So you're right about that. It's just a lot of information out there.
And then we have to change our parenting styles because of technology and information, and we have to be more inclusive. So we have to be more adaptive to how the children are.
How do we do that?
That's by listening.
Just asking the questions.
Listening, asking open-ended questions, and letting them begin to, with no judgment, letting them tell us how they feel, what's going on. Because a lot of times we don't listen to kids like we're supposed to. We go in your room. Okay, get out my face. Okay, all right, oh, they happened at school. Okay, cool. Like, instead of being like, oh, really, what happened? Like, really, what happened? Who? He did what?
Be intentional.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And active listening.
Yeah.
Active listening, I can tell you, man, it is it's an eye opener. Just me being in sales, active listening to people, it helps me understand why they want what they want. But I never thought about applying it to parenthood or active listening. And not that I'm just this judge, jury, or anything when it comes to parenting, because I listen to my kids, but you've given me a lot to reflect on as far as asking questions. And since I don't have young kids anymore, I guess I don't have to question as much because they make their own choices. But thinking back on, I probably could have asked a few more questions.
Because kids when they're young to they're 18, we guide them. At 18, we advise them.
Right.
So they ask for advice. Okay, I guided you to 18. Now it's time for me to advise you if you need it.
Exactly.
And listen with no judgment.
That part. Listen with no judgment.
Yeah. Because you want your parents to be open. I mean, I might give you criticism, or I might tell you I don't think that's a good idea. But at the end of the day, you have to make the choice because you're grown now.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to be accountable to whatever happened in your life now.
Exactly.
Because it's your life. It's not mine. And I can't live vicariously through you and make decisions for you through you because I'm not you.
That part. I feel like some parents think that their kids are like their legacy. And I've never really thought of my kids like that because I have my own legacy that I'm chasing. And so like I never thought of my kids as my legacy because they have their own dreams, their own hopes, their own ideals and ideas. So I can't push what I want them to do. I just want them to be successful.
That's true. And that's the thing that messes kids up. Even as I remember one lady told me, she was a doctor. She was like 86, 87 years old, right? But she still was practicing, in her practice. And she said, I live in a nice house, nice area. I made nice money, but I never wanted to be a doctor. She said, I wanted to be a dentist. I said, what? She said, yeah. She said, that's one thing I regret. She said, my parents paid for my school. They helped me through school, and I didn't want to disappoint them. So she said that I became a doctor because I was living up to their expectations instead of my own.
Gotcha.
So she didn't choose her own path. She chose their path, and she wasn't even happy about it. And she's 85, and she regretted.
So living someone else's dreams. See, I've never pushed that on my kids. Whatever it is you want to do, I want you to do it. Mm-hmm. Figure out how to do it. Go to school, get certified or get your degree for it, and then just do it.
Just do it. That's it. Yeah.
So besides anger management, you have other things and other areas that you work on because you help veterans out.
Yeah.
And you feed the homeless.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I help veterans out. We help them to be able to get stability. That's I do that part-time at my part-time job. And we help them to be able to, first of all, they go through a case management. They go through case management. They help them to find stability if they're homeless. Case management pay their rent up to 90 days, right? Mm-hmm. So if you need this services, you have to reach out to the St. Patrick's Center. Okay. So what I do is I help them to pay half of their rent if they get accepted into our program.
Okay.
Right. So we pay up to say if their rent's $500, we pay $250 for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And
2 years.
Yeah. And after that,
I just thought about it. That's $224 a month.
We require that they budget. What are you going to do with that other $250? Are you going to budget, save? Don't spend it just crazy. I mean, we're paying half of your rent. You know, so we do that. And I through my organization, it's called All Hoods Unite. I'm the founder of it. We've been operating for 5 years. You can find us on www.allhoodsunite.com. Last year we gave away around 10,000 meals, 1,000 toys, and 40 Thanksgiving baskets for Thanksgiving.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We partner with Longhorn Steakhouse and Starbucks to be able to meet the need. And mostly we meet the need of organizations.
Yeah.
Like Live Sober and the International Institute of St. Louis, our partners. We do individuals when we're able to. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we do drives. We did a big drive. We partnered with Arches last year, and we gave away around 150 boxes of food. Wow. Yeah, off of
now
Chambers.
Is this homeless vets or is this just anybody?
No, this was anybody.
Anybody.
Yeah. Now the vets is through St. Patrick's Center.
Okay.
That's
but All Hoods Unite.
All Hoods Unite. Our main focus and our main pillar is food security and community outreach.
Okay.
Those are two things that we focus on.
Now, if somebody wanted to support you, how could they support you?
They can go to our website, www.allhoodsunite.com. Mm-hmm. They can be able to support us, financial donation. You can Cash App or go through PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have secured ways that they can be able to give and donate. They can volunteer. They can reach out. It's an email on there that they can email the community outreach director to be able to volunteer. We had a sign up, but we have to redo that again. But so if you want to volunteer, you can always volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. We're looking we may have it, I don't know, but usually we have Community Day once a year. But I'm not sure. We may be having it June the 7th, so you can look out to the website to see. And what we do on Community Day is face painting. We give out free hot dogs, free hamburgers. Yeah. We usually have it in June. We have
June is right around the corner.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We usually have a recording artist and different things like that. I know last time the firefighters said they would be a part of it and stuff. So we'll see. You can check on the website to see if we're going to have it this year. If we do, it'll be June the 7th if we do have it. But we're just working on that right now to see.
That's amazing.
Goes. Yeah.
Now, what's some of the principles that was founded on? Because you're the person that founded it, actually.
Yeah.
What was the reason why you started it?
Yeah. Well, really, the reason I started it was me and the cousin that started it at first. But he went his own way, and that, it happens. You went your own way. But at first, I didn't want to start it out. I was reluctant because I'm like, I didn't deal with people most of my life. I'm tired of dealing with people. They did this and that. Because I've been doing nonprofit work since I was like 18. Helping out organizations, nonprofits, churches, and all that. So I've been in that work for a long time.
Yes,
but to be able to start it, I was really reluctant, but he encouraged me to be able to do it. He was like, you can be the founder, the president, stuff like that. Like, he came up with the name, really, All Hoods Unite, because a hood is not a particular people, it's a demographic of people. Yeah. So it's all people, it's humanity. Yeah. And so he came up with the name, and that's how it all just, started from there. And I always had a passion to be able to help others and to be able to meet the need, because the poverty rate here in St. Louis is 19.6%. Lower. 1 in every 5 person is in poverty. So that's really sad.
So everything that you're doing almost in your life is serving. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel amazing because when you serve, it brings life to you. It's an energy that you can't even describe. Think about the tree. It serves apples to humanity, right? It can't eat off its own fruit, off its own tree.
Right.
So when we serve, our tree is giving fruit to the world.
Gotcha.
So we're nourishing others.
Yeah. So you have such a giving heart, man. It's incredible. And I'm hoping people reach out to the website. And that's my point today is one, if you're having anger management issues, please reach out, because he has an abundance of information for you. You can attend the classes. Like you say, you have 25, 30 people to attend all the time.
And my classes are virtual.
Yeah.
Because
so you don't have to.
I have my own.
You don't have to go to a location. You just sign up. Now, how do they get online and do it? Do they have to go to your website?
Yeah, they have to go to my website. It's a sign up bar. They can put all their contact information in, and I will eventually reach out to them as soon as I can. But it's a 6-week sessions. Now it is self-pay at this time. Because I just believe in doing that right now. But I'll work with you. On it, but when I get more funding and stuff like that, more grants and stuff, I could really do pro bono and stuff. With some clients. But it's called Change Foundation Emotional Anger Management Program. So
the website is
www.stewartmcclain.com.
Perfect. Yeah. And they just click on the link and sign up, and you'll get them together.
They'll go to the contact. It says contact, and they can sign up. The app is going to come up, and then they'll send the information to me.
So to the leaders out there in the nonprofit world and with All Hoods United, and is there a certain message you want to give out to them today?
Yes. To leaders that's in the community and that's serving, continue to be focused on serving mankind, because we all have something to give. Don't think that you're not valid. You don't have to be the largest. You don't have to be the biggest.
Exactly.
Everything in life matters. The bees matter. The ants matter.
Yeah, for real. Like all of that is part of the ecosystem.
The spiders matter. Yeah. Everything matters. So don't feel like, well, my little thing that I'm doing, it's not doing anything. I'm supporting boys, or I give backpacks once a year. So that's not really making an impact. No, it is.
Yeah.
Because these people didn't have book bags until you gave them book bags.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't overlook anything.
Yeah.
Look, my mission in doing these podcasts is to reach one person that it matters to.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a different guest every week that is in a different field, so that, you're talking to somebody. It may not be 50 million people, but that one person, you may make a difference in their life. Yeah. And that's what I pray for every time I do one. Is that you make a difference at least in one person's life.
Yeah, if I can reach one person, and my living will not be in vain.
Exactly. That's all we're trying to do is change one person.
Yeah,
that's it. One person at a time
can change 1,000. One can change 1,000,000. One can change 2 million.
Oh, one could just change that one person's life that really didn't think he didn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
That part.
That's true.
I don't think about how much they can change. I want everybody to believe and know that they matter.
Yeah,
that's
they
important.
They do, and also because I remember one time I was speaking to someone recently, and they were going through something really hectic, and I was talking to them about helping them through their situation. They said they told 6 more people, and they all were crying about what I told them, and they helped them. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that. I just was trying to just encourage this person, but you just don't know how much your impact means to somebody. And like you said, just that one person with their life is able to change and they are able to become the person that they need to become off of your kindness. That's what matters.
That's it. All we're trying to do is inspire one.
Yeah, that's it.
Just inspire one, and that's it.
Yeah, because that's what matters in this world. I mean, getting back to that apple tree, I mean, it's there to feed a lot of people, but if one person eat from it and they become healthy,
yeah. And if one person don't eat from it, because they didn't have the information of where it was at,
yes,
like you have to put out as much information as possible because we're living in a world full of information, and all you have to do is Google it, and anybody that's talking about that, it will pop up.
Yeah.
So we're talking about anger management today.
Yes,
we're talking about all hoods united. Yeah. That's going to pop up, and somebody's going to listen to it, and somebody's going to listen to you, and somebody's going to reach out to you.
Yes.
Because you're available.
Yes.
And that's important.
Yes.
To be available for the people. And if they have the right information, they find out where you're at, then that's
true.
Key.
Yeah, because
that's key.
If a person's hungry but they don't know where to eat, they didn't know that it's places out here they can eat at, they're gonna starve.
Yeah.
But why do they starve? Because of a lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. That's that's half of a reason why most people are unemployed, because they don't know what's available for them.
Yeah.
Or, what government programs, if there's any left, that's available for them.
Yeah.
And those are just, real conversations that need to be had, not by me. I'm not a government official, but, in general, we need to get enough information out there to the homeless vets or the people that are hungry or people that's having anger management issues with their children, but is afraid to say, I need help.
Yeah.
And so they get on the line and they don't see the help. Or, they talk around or talk to somebody else might see this video that says, oh yeah, you know what? You should go see Stewart over there and boom. Now life starts changing for this person because they have the right information.
That's true.
And so, that's key, is to make sure the information is available, but also be available for them.
Yeah, to be available for them. And that's the thing, because a lot of times, it's being there for the people, being there to give the information, the resource, and when they do reach out, to be able to have it, to be able to give. So that's the main thing that I think, like you said, people perish because of the lack of information.
Yeah.
But when they receive information, they are empowered if they execute. Because I can give you information all day. Yeah. But if you don't execute on the information, that's your fault and not mine.
Exactly. So you have to first be able to know where the information is. Then you have to execute the information. Yeah. So I want to eat. Oh, All Hoods United is feeding us. Let me go over there. Now, if you know that All Hoods United is feeding people on June 7th and you're not going over there and you end up starving, that's on you, because you knew where the food was at. Yeah. So you do have to have deliberate action.
Yes,
involved.
Deliberate action. Yes, it has to be. It has to be.
Well, tell them again how to reach you.
Okay. You can reach me on my website, www.stewartmcclain.com. By email, bosslife100 at gmail.com. Well, that's Boss Life International. Sorry, 100 at gmail.com. Or if the phone number, it's better to probably text this phone number, 314, because I'll be really moving around and busy, 314-669-5351. And you will get a call back. So that's how you're able to reach me, so I can be able to serve and help you to be able to become the better you.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for an abundance of information on what you do for us and what you do for the community. We really appreciate you doing all that you do for the community, because a lot of people did not know about it, and now they do, and knowing is half the battle. Like
yes,
that's
half the battle.
So
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for coming. I reached out to you and you responded right away. I felt like that was a blessing in itself. You're an amazing guy. You're amazing for what you do for the community, and keep helping parents, keep helping the community, and keep feeding these people. Not only feeding them food, but feeding them knowledge, helping them with entrepreneurship. You do it all. I mean, we barely got a chance to really touch on everything that you do, but I appreciate you. And if you want to get in contact with him and know everything he does, he gave you every way to reach him. All you got to do is reach out and learn. Yes. We really appreciate you tuning in this week. Don't forget, Stewart McClain has your back no matter what. You need to eat, he got you. You need some anger management sessions, he can take care of you. You're the best. He's the best. Let's get it done today. I appreciate you. Bye for now.